NPBF coaches and fans, people who are watching from New Frontier, and possibly this coach's best friend, wife, child, I don't know who's involved. Uh, Welcome to yet another coach interview for season 16 of the NPBF post-draft but pre-season. Today is a special interview because outside of a couple little exchanges in our main chat and some others, I've never spoken to this person before, so you get to hear our genuine first interactions with one another. Uh, so this is either going to be amazing or train wreck.
Think it'll
Uh,
be all right.
oh yeah. Well, without delay, today I am joined by David, coach of the Galveston. I've been saying in my reading in my head as Galveston.
Galveston, yeah, in Texas.
Oh, okay. Where in Texas? Like I've been to like Houston. I've been to San Antonio.
It's southern. It's like near. It's on the Gulf of Mexico, and it's a little island.
Oh, I see.
So
Interesting.
yeah, there's like a 2.5 mile bridge or something across the water to the actual island. That's where my grandma lives.
Oh, wow. It's funny that you bring this up though, because in the previous interview with Deshaun, we were talking about gas prices in the tri-state area of New York, Connecticut, New Jersey, and we were putting forth the belief that it was only me, him, and Rennie that kind of lived in that area. But you specifically came up because it's like, well, David's new. We don't actually know where he is. So if you're
Oh,
up there, so
I'm in Ohio, so
okay,
I'm
so you're
from
not
Texas.
from Texas, but at least you're still not from that area.
You're right, exactly.
Uh, Ohio's an interesting choice though over Texas, that's for sure.
Yeah, it wasn't my choice either.
Oh man, that's a story for a different day, I'm sure.
hmm
So before we get into, well, anything regarding Pokemon and the NPBF, although this is still Pokemon, it's definitely worth noting that David was the runner-up for the previous D-League season, joining us as as the first D-League promote to be featured on the channel in an interview form. Famously, didn't play a quarter of his games, and he still made it to the runner-up.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, you know, you had a lot of stuff going on, but when you showed up, you showed up.
Yeah, I had a rough time for like 3 or 4 weeks in all of the leagues. I actually dropped out of two during that time, and I still tried to stick it out, even though I was taking those forfeits and stuff. So because I wanted to move up to main league because I had already dropped once and I didn't want to do it again.
Well, it paid off, and that means you were in at minimum 4 leagues during that time, and I don't know how you guys do that. I don't know how so many of you guys do more than two. I hate doing more than one. I only did the second one because you guys personally invited me.
Yeah, I'm in four right now too, actually.
I think my head would explode.
It's not bad. It gives me something to do when I have free time, and I like building teams and stuff like that.
That's fair. Well, I guess on that note, we can bring it to the first question because this is for everyone to get to know you. And, you answered some questions for Nate on the D-League video at the end of the season, but you didn't get to speak. We didn't get to hear the David history. So I want to know, like, what's your history with competitive Pokemon and what's brought you? Like, what's your story that's gotten you here?
I started competitive in like I don't know the end of Gen 6.
Mm-hmm.
So like X and Y, was the first one I actually started playing like uh, more competitively with my friends and stuff. And I found a Facebook group called Shadow Lugia, which is where I actually met my friend Alan. Um, I think it was around 2016, and that's where I started like learning how to play doubles, VGC, and I was a gym leader or whatever, so I got a lot of practice doing that kind of stuff. Um, After that, once we moved to a different group, because I don't even remember what happened, but I did my first draft league, and we did like a what is it called? It was a group war where you drafted the team or the types for each team. So each team like drafted, like we were like water, dragon, and ground or something like that.
Right
I
on.
forget exactly what it was, but then like you basically got points for each game that you won. And it was a very different concept, but that's how I met Jesse and Jake and all those other guys too. So Steven. And
Right
after
on.
that, we started doing draft leagues all the time together, and like we would just practice and do mock battles and team build. We've been doing that for like 3 years almost. So that I've probably done close to 50 or 60 draft leagues now.
So yeah, I didn't realize that the Goon Squad, like the group that at least would become the Goon Squad, had been around for that long. I'd never heard of them until the end of 2020 or the beginning of 2021, whenever James started being GS Koi Fish, basically.
Yeah, I mean, James is the last person that got added too, actually. So I think we have 7 in the actual original group total, and it's been almost 4 years.
That's pretty insane. It's like actually pretty insane. So
Yeah.
DLeague. Let's talk DLeague before we go into main. Uh, would you say that your strategy with drafting in DLeague was it something new? Was that classic David? Was it a greatest hits? I know it was your second time around doing DLeague after you had to drop the first time.
Yeah, that was definitely a classic David team. I drafted pretty much my favorite Pokemon that I know that I'm really comfortable with.
Well, it certainly shows. I mean, you don't make that kind of draft and not make it to the finals.
Right. There was a mistake on their part to let me have Rillaboom and Lele on the same team.
Oh my God. I know you had Lele. I forgot you had Rillaboom.
Yeah, it was pretty broken.
Man.
See, no, I actually lost. The guy that I lost to was the only person out of the entire roster I couldn't bring Lele or Rillaboom to the match. So,
Oh, why is that?
because he had Zapdos, Pinsir, and Blissey, and that literally just walls Tapu Lele and Rillaboom to the point of not even bringing them. Like and Skarmory or Corviknight or whatever. It was almost pointless. So I literally had to bring 2 backups over my 2 strongest Pokemon every time I battled him.
Wow, that actually was an anti-David team. That's really funny.
Yeah.
That's would you say though, considering how far you made it into this D-League, and it's definitely because you picked a lot of guys that you are comfortable with and you know how to use, would you say that you came into that season having a chip on your shoulder after having to drop from the previous D-League season?
Not really. I don't know. After I got my draft especially, I kind of knew that I was going to do pretty good, honestly.
You know what? It doesn't hurt to have that level of confidence.
Yeah, I mean, Tapu Lele's banned, so there's a reason for it, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just to take a second to inject some wise words of wisdom from one of the other coaches here, that being Rennie, it's good to have that confidence in yourself. When we started season 15, I was looking at my schedule and all the coaches I was gonna have to face, and I was like, dude, I'm gonna lose. I'm gonna lose here. I'm gonna lose here. And Rennie was like, you need to stop this because if this is how you're talking, you've already lost. You have no shot at beating them if you're already just talking about how you're gonna get your ass ate by them.
Exactly. And I used to have that same issue where I would get in my head like, oh, I'm definitely going to lose to this guy or this guy, and now I just don't feel that way anymore. Like, it's just a game. It's not a huge deal if you do lose. You can still make playoffs or finals with 3 or 4 losses if you figure out how to fucking play. You know, there's no reason to go into a game already thinking you lost.
Exactly. And I mean, your D-League season was a great exercise in doing the opposite and knowing you were going to do well the moment the draft was over.
Well, I did have a busted team. There's no lie about that.
You did. I'm surprised that we don't get to see Lele on some of your other teams like the GSI and letting Jaden get in his mono psychic. Surely he could have spared one really good psychic type so that not that you needed the help, you wound up winning the damn thing, but
It would have made a big difference on my team, though. It would have been a pretty cool tool to have.
oh yeah. Like our game week 1 may have not gone this the way it did if you had Lele, I'm gonna be honest with you.
I would have had an answer for Giratina at least.
And Needle Queen.
I had nothing for that.
Yeah,
defensive Giratina is difficult.
Yeah, I wish it was a better offensive Pokemon, but you know, it just doesn't have the speed for it to really be to be that much of a threat. Like you can do things, but it's called a great one of the Great Walls for a reason.
Yeah, it's kind of it's definitely more defensive, especially with the Will-O-Wisp and all that stuff. Anyways.
Yeah. So I'm gonna pivot for a second. The whole time I've been looking at your logo, I thought it was Broly, right? I thought it was Broly because obviously it's the green hair, and Rillaboom as Broly rather, because you know it's got the green hair, it's got the electricity, it's got the aura, obvious, and like that's Broly's Super Saiyan form. It kind of resembles Broly's Super Saiyan 3 that was in the video games. But all of a sudden now I'm seeing Goku's uniform. I'm seeing. I actually don't know what that red sash is. Oh no, that's the Bancho fan. So like, is this Goku or is this Broly?
Dude, I have no idea. James sent me that picture and I thought it was hilarious and I loved it, so I made it my logo. That's the end of it.
I don't think the artist knows. I don't think the artist knows if this is Goku or Broly. Maybe this is Goku and Broly doing the fusion dance and they turned into Rillaboom.
Oh wait, that one actually was made by PS5. He made that one.
He drew.
I was thinking of the other one.
He made this one?
Yeah.
Oh my god. I don't know why he's being a nurse and not trying to be a freelance artist.
Yeah, he's been making logos for me for a while actually. I have so many made by him.
He is this is a talent. He is quite the artist.
Now, I don't know if he drew the picture or anything, but he definitely did make it, so I'd have to ask him.
Oh, well, he can take a bit more credit, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll debunk some things when he comes on, but for now we'll let him have the extra ego. All right, enough gassing up Shawnee. He'll come on and he'll put all of that to rest, or he'll gas himself up more, but we'll leave that for him.
Yep.
So now you're in the main league with all the big boys. A lot of goons here too, in fact.
Yep.
Going into this draft, did you have a specific idea, maybe not necessarily of the Pokemon you wanted, but at least the way you wanted to play, considering it's a really unique season in that we're doing Z moves, D Max, and Megas all at once?
Well, me and Jesse were talking about this kind of like base stat total type of thing.
Right on.
For drafting, and we were trying to get the highest base stat total to make our teams bulkier, basically. And I kind of just wanted to have the strongest fucking special breaker, physical breaker, and then the strongest physical wall and special wall. And that's pretty much my game plan. So I have webs, and then I have Dynamax, Lapras, and my Z move has Sand Rush or Rain or whatever, Swift Swim. So like, it's going to be a fast hitting team.
It is. So you just wanted power then, because Jesse in his interview spoke at length about the BST doc that he has and the thought process behind everything that he did.
Mm-hmm.
So you just wanted the hardest hitting everything.
Well, I wanted the hardest hitting D-Max and Z move user like that I could get to work with Ninetales, because I wanted to be able to use Aurora Veil, and I wanted my top 3 Pokemon, Hoopa, Garchomp, and Regieleki, those are my breakers. So after I got those, the rest of the team is pretty much support.
I can see a lot of that actually now that I'm looking at your team. I did not quite realize the ice core you had going on at a glance, but now I see it. Now it's a threat. I had been
Yeah,
previously
it was kind of.
speaking. No, no, finish your thought. Finish your thought, because I was going to ask a specific question.
I was gonna say it was kind of like the bottom of the um, draft when I decided to go with bear tick and stuff. At first, I was gonna get Dynamax Quillfish
Mm-hmm.
to go with rain, and I was gonna get Polytoad or something. I forget what else my other ideas were. I had like 15 different ideas for my last 4 picks,
Oh
but I like
man.
how it actually ended up.
So it's funny you mention how Lapras was a change in plan, because Liam and I were speaking in his interview. We were looking at all the teams. I think yours was a team he really liked actually. And one of the things he and I were curious about is besides the HP stat, what Dynamax Lapras does besides trapping. Any insight you can provide onto it?
It's a good weakness policy user for DMAX. It's a good Dragon Dancer with webs, especially. It's got freeze dry. It's got water absorb for Dracovish. Um, a lot of different things that I wanted to think about. Like I like having shell armor for when I have to fight fucking uh, Sean with his crit kiss type shit.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of different stuff. I love Lapras. I use it in VGC a lot.
Okay, so you play VGC as well. You don't just play singles like a lot of the guys here do.
Yeah, I used to only play VGC for a long time.
Would that have been before your foray at the end of 6th gen around the time you met Alan?
No, that was around the same time. Well, like that's when we started playing VGC.
All right. I'm curious to know more about your VGC experience. So take me back to that.
So I pretty much started playing because after Wolf Glick won the championship, the world championship, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's when I started watching all his videos. I learned from him and Cybertron, and that's a plus one. Like I watched a bunch of VGC YouTubers, and that I pretty much tried to develop my own style for VGC through watching them and learning about how you all the mechanics work and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think playing doubles a lot in the beginning actually made me a little bit better at singles.
Interesting.
So yeah, I've been in the Wolfie Glick's Tournament of Champions, and I've done a couple of the invitational or not invitationals, the just the whatever tournaments they have, Wi-Fi tournaments and stuff.
I see. That's really interesting stuff right there. I did not know you were that prevalent. I thought James was the resident doubles guy.
Yeah, we talk about it a lot actually.
I'm sure you do because God knows that boy needs somebody to talk about doubles with.
Yeah, we had a couple games last night actually.
Oh wow. I bet he was living.
It was pretty fun. You should ask
Anytime,
him.
anytime he tries to bring up doubles, we'll be like, hey, so like what if we do another double season? We all are just like, no, no, you take that thought and put it back in your pocket. Save that for a rainy day when the rain is like torrential and Noah's Ark level.
Doubles are fun, man. You can do a lot more cool things.
Yeah, well, maybe James should have won that season. Maybe then we'd let him talk about it. But no, he let Rennie win that season.
Oh yeah, he told me he lost his first game in playoffs or something.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a few people we thought were gonna win. Two of them didn't actually even make it to the end of the season before they got removed for various reasons. And then James was the favorite to win, and then he lost.
Poor James.
Poor James. But little inside scoop. He wants to create a doubles offshoot of the NPBF the way we have DLeague, so that might come to fruition at some point.
That'd be pretty cool.
I'm sure he would want to have you spearheading it alongside of him.
I think so too. I would be down.
So I gotta ask, because both you and Jesse talk about this base stat total idea of yours. Was that something you guys came up with together, or was that something one of you brought to the other?
Jesse definitely came up with it.
Yeah.
He just kind of said something about it because if you look at the tiers after it's all been sorted by the base stat total,
Yeah.
it actually shows a lot of Pokemon that don't get used very much that have a lot more extra stats that you don't really expect.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain.
No, that's something Jesse and I actually talked about a lot. Like, one of the Pokemon he brought up is Azumarill, because Azumarill shows up low on that list because it's got a 420 base stat total. But obviously, we all know that's not true because of huge power.
Exactly. Just like Slush Rush or Swift Swim and just like Intimidate actually basically adds bulk, which is why I had Arcanine, but PS5 wanted to trade me really bad, so I gave him it.
Yeah, and Entei's not nothing to shake your nose at either. Entei's real good.
Yeah, and I've never used Entei either, which is another reason I wanted to draft it after he gave it or he offered it to me.
Yeah,
And I've used Arcanine a bunch of times.
it's surprisingly bulky. You slap an AV on that thing, and it doesn't die.
Yeah, and it hits pretty fucking hard too.
Yeah, and now you don't have to compared to what we were doing in the last season where it's Gen 6, so Entei, Raikou, Suicune, if you wanted to use their event moves, they were locked into a nature and locked into shiny. Now you don't have to do that if you want to run Sacred Fire Entei.
Mm-hmm.
You get to be a bit more
I
creative
actually
with
didn't
it.
even know that.
Yeah, so those were event moves that were given out in 4th gen right before Black and White came out to tie in with the Zoroark movie. So you had to have all three. You had to transfer all three of them into Black and White to unlock the Zoroark event that was in the game. Um, but they were never redistributed, and those event moves weren't given as tutors or whatever until at least Gen 7. So the only way to run Aurasphere Raikou early on or Sacred Fire Entei was Entei had to be shiny and adamant, Raikou had to be rash and shiny. I don't remember Suicune's because it wasn't as widely used as the other two, but you were locked in to running a certain
Oh, I
very
got you.
specific set in fifth and sixth gen if you wanted to use those moves.
I got you. Yeah, Heatran was like that for Eruption too, I remember.
Now that I didn't know.
It used to have to be, I think, quiet if
That's
it was a
interesting.
certain direction.
I never knew that. That's actually that's really fascinating.
It was just random facts.
Random facts with David. You gotta love it. So, outside of your big hitters like Hoopa and oh geez, who else? Who else was some of the big VST hitters? We had Hoopa, we
Garchomp.
had Garchomp. Garchomp's actually a really interesting pick because a lot of people don't usually go for the Mega because of the downgrade in speed. So was it just the big BST that sold you on it since you don't have anything to take advantage of its sand ability out innately like a Hippowdon or a Gigalith?
Right, which that's not a big deal, I don't think. I was going to get Rune Regus instead of Cofagrigus at first, so that I could set sand if I really wanted to, but with webs and scale shot, I don't really need the sand
True.
force. I can just run swords dance and scale shot and it's gonna hit things really fucking hard anyways.
That's
And
true.
it's also surprisingly bulky if you don't get hit by ice moves.
Yeah, that is the one thing I know about Mega Garchomp. It's fat, and people forget that it's fat.
Yeah, it can live quite a bit.
So taking a look at your team, this is a lot more team discussion than we've been doing so far, but I just have so many questions about yours. One concern that I have about your team, and maybe you plan on addressing this, maybe it's just not an issue for you, is that Regieleki, unless I'm wrong, and I might be wrong because I don't know much about anything about Gen 8, but I'm pretty sure Regieleki is your only hazard removal.
Yeah, I thought about that. I was gonna try to go for defogging, but I'm gonna bring Reggie Lucky to probably every match. So I mean, I'm not super worried about hazards, honestly. And all the mock battles I've done already, I haven't even brought my D-Max, and I've been doing fine. So there's so many different like options that I have. I think it's going to be really dependent on who I'm playing against, and if they put pressure on it, then Reggie Lecky can still take care of it if I have to. But I don't think it's that big of a deal, honestly. I still have like Magic Coat or Taunt and stuff like that to try to stop it.
You bring up a good point that I spoke about with Liam, where we talked about, or rather, I brought up at least, how I think that we're in the way we handle D-Max and Z moves. I think we're gonna see a lot of variety and situational usage of them, as opposed to seeing, you know, the same three big threats being brought every week because those are the things that are gonna hit super duper hard, and then the other three slots get filled in. And I think you're the first person to like outwardly state that like, oh, I haven't even used my D-Max yet, or things are gonna depend on who I'm facing. And I guess
Right.
I totally agree with you. I think people are overvaluing the D-Max and the Z moves, and I think those are going to be a lot more plug and play than people are thinking right now.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to come every week, honestly, and I don't think it really needs to.
No, if it's not going to do much in the matchup, there's no reason to bring it, especially if there's something else that can use the space instead and actually help you win.
Exactly. Like Lapras is a good Pokemon all around. Like there might even be times where I could bring it and not D-Max it because I don't really need to. And just use it as a support Pokemon because it's just a really good water ice type in general.
It
So
is.
I think there's a lot of options.
Oh, there are. There's a lot of options here. Like your team's a threat. Your team is a threat. There's no way to sugarcoat it. Like especially with webs, like this team is scary.
Yeah, I mean, Trick Room is kind of an issue, but that's basically what Kofagrigus is for and Taunt. So that's the biggest issue I would probably struggle with, and it's a lot harder to use Trick Room effectively in singles. So I don't think
Yeah.
it's going to be too big of an issue.
Yeah, I don't think we really see it happen that much, at least in the NPBF. I know the one time somebody tried to run it last season, I wouldn't say it backfired, but it definitely just didn't work the way the coach had intended it to and didn't change the game.
Right, and that happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Luckily for him at least, that happened like week 2, so he knew right away, okay, yes, this is something I don't do again. I'm not going to waste my time
Right. Is
on.
that Jesse?
Yeah, it was Jesse. That was Jesse. Yeah, that was Jesse. Uh,
Yeah, there it happens.
it definitely happens. So, before we go any further talking about teams, I want to talk about the divisions because these divisions are not fair, I'm going to say.
Not fair.
They are not balanced. And I say this to you specifically because I'm not sure if you've looked much at the divisions, but you certainly find yourself in one of the easier two of the 4 divisions.
The easier two.
The
Who's in my
easier two.
division again?
So you are what I have, even though you are in the still on side division, your division is what I have affectionately called the mostly Goon division.
The mostly Goon division.
Because it is you, it is James, it is PS5, and then the outlier is Jason, who was the runner-up last season.
That's a pretty strong division, though.
It is. But then you compare it to the other one in your conference, which is Brock, Eric, Deshaun, and Rennie.
Do I get to fight all them?
Yes, you do.
Nice. That'll be fun. I've never got to fight Deshaun, I don't think, or at least not in a long time.
Yeah, there's possibly you faced off in one of those tournaments that is likely lost in archived footage. Yes, there we've reached a point in NPBF history where there's lost episodes now.
Wow, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, you're part of history, David. Yeah, so you probably faced off in one of those tournaments in like late sixth, early seventh gen.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah,
The fun
very long.
times.
And then we've discussed half the division, so we'll just go through the other half. The other of the what I have dubbed the easier of the two divisions is Jeff, Gavino, Jesse, and newcomer but also returning coach Quentin.
I gotcha. Yeah, I've never battled Gav or the new guy, so that'll be interesting to see
Yeah,
how they do too.
yeah. That division's gonna crank up in difficulty once we get to the back half of the season, and Gav's in danger of going to DLeague.
And he starts playing better.
Yeah, he like I don't know if he does this intentionally or what, but like he just does whatever his first like the first half of the season. Sometimes he wins, sometimes he doesn't. The moment you tell him that he's about to go to D League, if he doesn't start picking up wins, it's like it's a different person. And he just starts winning. He just starts winning. Sometimes it's because the coach that he beats figured Gav was going to be a free win and just brought the same team as he was going to do every like he did every other week. And sometimes it's just because a switch flips inside of him and he's just a whole different breed. There's nothing scarier in the NPBF than Gav, who is on the verge of going to D League.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've that's what I've heard a couple times that you guys have been talking about how he plays really good at the end. So I want to see it.
Yeah, it's quite funny. And then the final division is myself, Steven, which I don't need to explain that one. Uh,
Yep.
Liam, who defending champion right now, and Anthony, who I don't actually know if you've played, but Anthony has probably the best prep mind in the MPBF.
Yeah, I haven't played him before. I've played Liam, and I'm pretty sure Liam's beat me a couple times too. So I know he's pretty good. I think it's been a long time since I played him, but Steven has beaten me in playoffs probably 3 or 4 different times. So, I mean, it's always a good fight when I have to fight Steven. And then I have never even beat you yet, so we'll see.
We'll see. We will see. I have the misfortune of fighting Steven round one, week one, so don't
Yeah,
get to
that'll be fun.
I don't get to scout him, but it'll be fun. It'll be fun. It will be fun. I like playing Steven. Who do you
Yep,
play?
he's really good at prepping too.
Yeah, he is. Who do you play week one? I'm curious. You get PS5 week one.
PS5.
That's gonna be fun. That is going to be a
Yeah,
fun
I've
one.
actually looked over his team a little bit, and it's gonna be kind of a weird matchup, honestly,
How do you figure?
because Kirim and Togekiss, I literally hate Togekiss more than anything in the world.
Right on.
I mean, obviously, Blissey can wall it and whatnot, and I have things I can do, but I fucking can't stand fighting Togekiss. That's pretty much my biggest thing.
Oh man.
I almost lost in D-League because someone had a pair of flinch Togekiss, and it flinched me, I think, 11 times in a row.
Oh man. That's really funny.
That's the most frustrating Pokemon in Pokemon.
Yeah, it happened to Anthony as well in the main league where I think for the half the game he didn't get to do anything because he just kept getting Togekiss flinched.
Yeah, fuck that. I'm gonna have to destroy it.
Did anyone draft Togekiss this season? Or no, you just said PS5. Shawnee did.
Yep,
Yeah, yeah. I don't know where my head is, but it's clearly not on. It's clearly not in his team.
that's okay.
But while you have your eyes on the teams, I'm curious. Is there a team like, or multiple teams that like on paper, obviously we can't say in execution because we don't know how anyone's teams are going to do because we haven't started yet. But like, are there some teams on here that if given the opportunity and you were the one piloting those teams, you'd be pretty happy about being in control of them?
Let me see. I like Rennie's team a little bit with
Rennie,
Neuvern and
Yeah,
Mega Charizard X.
Rennie's team is scary.
And is Blaziken speed boost or no?
No.
No, okay. And then I like I can't believe James actually picked Ditto. That's actually hilarious.
He picked it round 1.
Yeah.
That was the 4th pick of the whole draft.
And Steven's team, he has Moltres and Reuniclus. I like his team too.
I've been trying to figure out how to beat that team, and I don't have anything yet.
Yeah, he loves Zarude too, and Zarude is really strong. Like I've lost to that a couple times.
Oh.
Who's Lady Moxie? Oh, Anthony.
That's Anthony.
I like his Mega, but honestly, Jesse's and Eric's teams are probably my two favorites.
Jesse said the same about you, and now knowing that you guys went in with the similar VST strategy, that makes a lot more sense.
And I mean, he has a really strong team too. Like the Regigigas team, we tested that before he picked that as his max to see how it worked with Ditto. Because even if you get like a weakness policy boost or something from it, and your slow start is over, if Ditto switches in and turns into Regigigas, it still gets the slow start.
So Jesse had mentioned that to me, and that's how that works. That's actually how that works.
Yeah, we tested it because of Ditto.
I mean, Ditto's going to be a threat because it can copy those DMAX stats.
Exactly. So I thought that was insane. I've always loved Regigigas, but I always hated slow start, and the way that it works now, like now you can use Protect, it's pretty good now.
Yeah, and Jesse was telling me about how it's got the bulk to really live out the turns.
Yeah, it definitely does. It's got ridiculous stats. Just like Slaking. I used to love Slaking, but I hated not being able to attack 2 turns or every other turn or whatever.
Yeah, we were interested to see if someone was going to try to pick that one up.
I thought about it, but I couldn't do it because it doesn't go away, which is the worst part.
No, and honestly, looking at Jesse's team, having Tapu Bulu is going to make the longevity for Regigigas even worse.
Yeah, and it provides interesting options for the rest of his team too, which I think is pretty cool. Like Grassy Glide, Mega Venusaur, or Terrain Pulse Inteleon. I think it gets Terrain Pulse. Some just cool stuff.
I didn't even think about Grassy Glide Mega Venusaur. Even though one of the things Jesse talked about when he and I spoke was about how Venusaur is going to get to be able to do a lot of things because it's got good stats in both offenses. And I'm really excited.
My bad, now. Jesse.
No, Jesse talked at length about his team and the reason why he picked everything, because he really wanted to go in deep explaining this BST idea of his. And the coaches we have here, everyone was going to figure out that it had Grassy Glide, even if it was just we didn't see it till Jesse's first game. Everyone was gonna figure it out, looking at move pools and whatnot.
Right. Yeah, I know.
I'm actually
funny.
really excited that Jesse has Mega Venusaur, because I don't think we would see the crazy shit that it can do with anybody else.
Exactly. We're gonna see cheese.
We're gonna see cheese, and it's gonna work. It's gonna work, I think.
Oh yeah, and Rhyperior, man. Who let him have Rhyperior? I love Rhyperior too.
It's such a good mon. It's a cool mon, and it's a good one.
Yeah, I've used it a lot in VGC actually, with Lightning Rod, and again with Gyarados, James' favorite Pokemon.
Oh, that's a really good combo.
I've used Rhyperior a lot. And then on Eric's team, Dragapult's probably one of the best draft Pokemon ever.
I can't believe
Incineroar is one of the best doubles Pokemon ever. And Incineroar is one of my favorite Pokemon too. And having the Fire, Grass, Water, Incineroar, Celebi, and what was this water one? Toxapex. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I don't think we
It's
really
just
need to say
crazy.
anything else besides Jesus Christ, that's his fire, water, grass core. That is not going to be fun. I can't believe Dragapult and Toxapex fell to him the way they did.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of ridiculous.
Oh man. Yeah, I'm interested to see how these teams perform specifically with these guys. And
Yeah,
maybe,
Deshaun's
maybe
team is pretty cool too.
it is. That is
Sorry.
very much a Deshaun team. It is very
Rillaboom
much a
Lucha.
Deshaun team. Yeah, Rillaboom and Hawlucha, like that's gonna be a threat. Everyone knows it's gonna be a threat, but that's gonna be a threat.
Yeah, that's gonna be rough for everyone to go around. Same thing with Mega DNC. That's one of my other favorite megas. Like his team's pretty good too. I think
yeah,
I'm in his division. Or no, I'm not.
you're in
No.
his conference, so you're gonna play. You are gonna play him.
Okay, gotcha. Cool.
Which brings up another question I had, which we've touched on a bit, but I'm curious to hear. Maybe get some insight from you on. But let's looking at your schedule. I know you're interested and excited to play guys you either haven't played before or just haven't played in a long time. But who are the real standouts on that schedule of guys you really just can't wait to face in the regular season?
I think Deshaun, and I want to beat BK. I obviously I got to fight him again, so I'm ready for it.
And I
I
mean,
think he's
you
got a
might
very
do it.
similar team.
Yeah, it's a very similar team, but it's guys that he likes.
Yeah, and I mean I think I have a pretty good shot uh, this time around with the team that I drafted. I think it's gonna be a lot harder to stop.
I think so, although not having well, I was gonna say not having Lele hurts, but I mean, I guess you probably wouldn't want to bring Lele with Chansey, Nidoqueen, Mega Pinsir,
Magnezone.
Skarmory, Magnezone,
Yeah, that's why I didn't bring it the first time.
all those threats. Oh jeez. And Deshaun, like he's got some of those. Got Rillaboom.
Yeah, he better do good with it. Damn it,
He better. It was his first
Rillaboom.
round pick.
I thought about picking it. I'm pretty sure it was open when I got to me, wasn't it?
No, Deshaun was two before you.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm thinking of a
almost.
different draft I was doing this week.
Yeah, Rillaboom almost made it to you.
It actually
Almost.
made it to the wild card in the doubles draft that I'm in right now. It
How? Rillaboom's
was one
really
of the
good in
last picks.
doubles, isn't it?
Yeah, I just didn't want to pick it because I picked Cinderace with Libero, but it didn't get picked up the first entire round. It was ridiculous.
That is really ridiculous. I feel like Rillaboom should always go round one of any doubles
Yeah,
or singles.
I agree. That's probably my favorite Pokemon.
And it has to be up there. Your team mascot is Rillaboom. It's Goku Boom.
Yeah, Goku Boom. But yeah,
So
that's pretty much it.
yeah, it is. For on your end, I'm sure, but I have a few more questions that are more freeform, although it's really just one, but this is where you get to talk at length or as little as you want. I'm curious if you have any thoughts on stuff that I haven't touched on, especially because you and I, like, again, first time real conversation you and I have had. If there's anything, any thoughts on your mind, anything we feel like we're missing to really get the, like, yes, now we know David experience.
Uh, I don't know. I kind of feel like I I think everyone pretty much knows me for the most part. Even if they haven't battled me yet, I think I'm good at getting myself known by people. That makes sense.
Oh, it does. I mean, I know how much of a jokester you are.
So I don't really know what I need to say. I mean, I'm gonna win games and beat Cheeks. That's all I need to do.
Win games and beat Cheeks. I think that's the official slogan of the Galveston Goons. Almost said Galveston again.
Galveston. That sounds like British almost.
Yeah, it does. Like I know you're obviously from the States before this, and now I know you're from Ohio and Texas. But I was like, man, this sounds like he's like with with those guys in the UK or in Oceania, even though I know he's
Oh
not, just based off the
no.
name. I know you're not. I just the dyslexia that I don't have just really working in overdrive.
I gotcha.
Well, David, it's been a pleasure actually getting to sit down and speak to you and actually like talk as opposed to fuel quips getting exchanged here and there over the last 5 or so months. I hope everyone's enjoyed getting to hear more from David first time on the channel. Hopefully not the last time on the channel this season.
It won't be. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey man, we might be speaking in 3 months and you're the division leader.
Oh, I hope so.
I mean, you got the
I'm gonna do
team
my
for
best.
it. You got the team for it. You've already proved out in DLeague and other places that you got the skill for it.
I'm gonna do my best. That's all I can do.
Words to live by, certainly. Definitely can't be disappointed if you know you did your best.
Exactly.
Well, with all that said, everyone, please keep being excited for more interviews, more opportunities that we have maybe only briefly touched on in some of the other interviews to see more than just myself and Jeff and Nate and occasionally Rennie on this channel outside of the interviews. If you have ideas for ways to do that, pester me or us. I don't know. I don't know if you know me. And hope to God that we get David back on the channel because I think a couple months from now, he and I are probably going to go twice as long with a lot more laughing.
It sounds like a plan.
I'm going to hold you to it, David.
Don't worry, I'll be here.
Oh, I would be very disappointed if you weren't.
It's all right. It's gonna be okay.
Okay.
Division leader, easy.
Easy. That's he's sent out the Goonz challenge.
Yeah, come at me, James, PS5, and the other Jason.
Well, guys, I think with all of that said, we're gonna wrap up. Again, stay excited. Stay in tune for the other interviews and for Season 16 proper coverage to begin. Till next time, take it easy.
See you guys.